People have been trying to understand what elements of parenting are most important. If I can walk away with some simple points, what are those things? And I think that the best model described by a researcher named Diana Baumrind from California. And she identified that there were two domains of parenting that were the most important. And the two domains were warmth and expectations. And she divided those into a quadrant, like an x-axis and a y-axis, high and low and high and low. And she found that the kids who did best were raised by parents who had high expectations and high warmth. And so with our parents sometimes who are dealing with kids who are struggling with depression or anxiety, they say, well, they're suffering, they're sick, maybe I should drop the expectations and just, let them be. And what we know is that when people are not productive and when they're not active, they feel worse. And so on the contrary, we recommend to parents that they maintain that level of high warmth and high expectations. So if you work through that graph a little bit more and you think of the other three quadrants, we can just go through and describe those. So the ones where the kids do better, the high warmth, high expectations, is called authoritative parenting. That is when the parents are in charge, but the kids are also heard from and their wishes are taken into account with parenting making the final determination. And relationships are valued. And so that warmth is really important. It's not just a top-down disciplinary style. Now, if we contrast that with low warmth and high expectations, those would be authoritarian parents, where it's do it because I told you. Obedience is stressed above all. And what we find with those kids is that they learn to comply through fear. They're afraid of the consequences, and so they do what they're supposed to do, but they often feel angry about it, and they haven't internalized their own sense of right and wrong. And so these might be kids who go off to college someday and act out because they don't have their own internal compass about how to make a good judgment about what's right and wrong. They haven't made many decisions about how to proceed through life because it's just been sort of handed to them. The other two domains refer to that warmth, and so high warmth, low expectations are permissive parents. These are the parents where anything goes, kids can do no wrong. The kids hold a lot of power and they expect that parents will get them out of jams. These kids would be described as entitled. And this might be a good model for grandparents to be permissive, for grandparents to have high warmth and low expectations. But for parents, it's really not a good model for parenting to set up your child with the expectation that they can do what they want and they won't be held accountable. So that's the permissive group. And those kids end up feeling pretty angry and they feel frustrated because they've had to try to learn how to navigate in a world with their expectations not matching what happens to them. These are parents who might call lawyers to the school to get their kids out of a situation that is unfavorable to them, for example, rather than having kids absorb the consequences of their actions.